Hello there, I'm Pratibha and today we're gonna talk about subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit number 32, Popular Struggles in the Princely States. Objectives. This unit aims to present before era broad survey of the popular struggles in the princely states during the 1920 to 1947 period. After reading this unit, you will be able to make a comparison between the struggle in the princely states and the national movement. Discuss the role of the Indian National Congress in preparing the people of the states for these struggles. Point out the changes in the Congress policy on this issue and assess the role of the communism in spearheading these struggles. Subunit 32.1 Introduction. British suzerainty over India had been achieved through a long and complex process. It was accomplished through a direct request, intimidation or accommodation of the pre-colonial Indian political entities which existed in India. The result was direct British rule over 3/5 of the subcontinent and indirect rule embodied in the concept of paramountcy over the remaining 2/5. The areas coming under the latter arrangement continued to be normally ruled by Indian princes. Princely India or the Indian states consisted of hundreds of states, some of them like Hyderabad, Mysore or Kashmir were of the size of many European countries. Some others were very small with the population of only a few thousands and many fell in between these two categories. The most significant feature of indirect British rule over the Indian state was that in return for being acknowledged as the paramount power, the British guaranteed the rulers security against all threats to their existence, external and internal, full stop. Consequently, the rulers felt no need to undertake even the minimum of measures to ensure the goodwill of their subjects. Most states were run on out and out autocratic principles. The rulers squandered the state revenues on extravagant personal whims and fancies. They made frequent trips to European countries and had a long stays. They gave lavish entertainment to their foreign guests by means of organizing shikar parties. They also continued to add to the number of women in the harem. The burden of all this naturally fell on the helpless inhabitants. High taxes, even higher than in neighboring British India, were the general rule. Some of the more enlightened rulers, often in the face of British resistance, did try to introduce administrative and political reforms and promote industrial development. They also made serious efforts to spread modern education and even grant a measure of popular participation in government. Such states, however, constituted a small minority. The vast majority continued to remain backward in all spheres of life. A great part of the responsibility for this situation lay at the door of the British, who, especially in the context of the growing strength of the national movement in the 20th century, sought to maintain Indian states as the bulwarks of the reaction and were reluctant to countenance any moves towards responsible government. Of course, they strongly disapproved of any support that the princes might extend to the national movement, and through their representatives in the states, the agents or the residents exercised strict supervision and control. Subunit 32.2 Influence of the national movement. Nevertheless, as was bound to happen, the national movement, after it had taken roots in the British India, exercised a powerful and growing influence on the people of the states. The idea of democracy, responsible government, and civil liberties popularized by the nationalists and an immediate relevance for them as they in their day-to-day life suffered the excess of autocratic rule. These ideas were carried at first by individual nationalists, some of them terrorists from the British India, seeking shelter in the states. But when national movement assumed a mass character, its influence on the people of Indian states became more generalized. In fact, the first local level popular associations were organized in the states under the impact of a non-cooperation and Khilafat movement, which lasted from 1920 to 1922. Unit 32.3 The first political organizations. Among the states where the first Rajamandal or state people's conferences were set up first included Hyderabad, Mysore, Baroda, the Kathiawar states, the Deccan states Jamnagar, Indore and Navanagar. Among the leaders who emerged through this process, the more important names are there of Balwant Rai Mehta, Maniklal Kothari and C.R. Abhyankar. It was largely at their initiative that the first All India gathering of the people of states took place in 1927 and led to the formation of the All India States People's Conference, AISPC, in the bracket AISPC. The first session itself being attended by about 700 political workers. Subunit 32.4 The Congress Policy. In 1920, the Indian National Congress had declared its policy towards the Indian states through a resolution which called upon the rulers to institute full responsibility government. On the question of organizing the political movements or struggles in the Indian states, however, the Congress policy were more complex. more individuals living in the states were free to become a members of the Congress and participate in movements led by it. They were not to carry any political activity in the states in the name of Congress. This they could do only in their individual capacity or as a member of local political organization such as Praja Mandals, etc. And a various reason for this stand of the Congress was that the state were legally independent entities. The political condition in different states varied a great deal, and between British India and the Indian states the differences on this count were immense. Therefore, an organization such as the Congress, which determined its politics and forms of struggle, or the basis of the condition in British India, could not afford to be directly associated with the political movement in the states at their initial stage. Moreover, it was not advisable for the people in the states to rely on the more advanced types of movement in British India for an acceptance of their demands. They were required to build up their own strength, advance their own political consciousness, and demonstrate their capacity to struggle for their own specific demands. Within the framework of these limitations, the Congress and the congressmen continued to extend support to the movements in the states in a variety of ways. In this presidential address to the Lahore session of the Congress in 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru elaborated the position of the organization. Vice versa, the states. He emphatically stated, Indian states cannot live apart from the rest of India, and on people who have the right to determine the future of the states must be people of the states. While the process of political awakening and political protest went ahead in many states in 1920 and early 1930s, the real court in the movements in the states came in the latter of the 1930s. This was largely conduct of two associated developments: the federation scheme proposed by the Government of India Act of 1935 and the assumption of office by Congress ministries in the majority of provinces of British India in 1937. Subunit 32.4.1 Federation Scheme. According to the Federation proposal, the Indian states were to be brought into the direct constitutional relationship with British India, as distinct from the existing position in which they were in direct relationship only with the British Crown. This was to be achieved by setting up the Federal India legislature, which would have representatives from the British India as well as from the Indian states. However, while the representatives from the British India would be largely reacted by the people, and the representatives from the Indian states, who were to constitute the third of total members, would be nominated by the rulers of the states. The which purpose of this scheme was to use the nominated representatives of the states as a solid conservative bloc to counter the weight of the elected representatives of British India. The federation scheme was, therefore, opposed by the nationalists, and it was demanded that the representatives of the states should also be elected instead of being nominated. Understandably, this imparted a great sense of urgency to the demand for responsible government in the Indian states, for there could be no elective principle at the federal level without it being implemented at the level of the states. Hello there, I'm Pratibha. Today we're gonna talk about subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit 32, Popular Struggles in the Princely States. Part 2. Now we're going to talk about the article which has been written by Mahatma Gandhi. The topic, the article name called Harijan. States and the people. The almost simultaneous simultaneous awakening AWAKENING in the various states is a very significant SIGNIFICANT event in the national struggle for independence. It will be wrong to think that such awakening can be due to the instigation instigation of one person or a body of persons or any organization. It is just possible that the Haripura Haripura resolution of the Congress put the people of the states on their settle, and they realized as never before that their salvation salvation depend upon their own labors. But above all, it is the time spirit that has brought about the awakening. It is to be hoped, hoped that the princes and their advisors will recognize it and make the legitimate legitimate aspirations aspirations of the people. There is no halfway house between total extinction extinction of the states and the princes making their people responsible for the administration of their states and themselves becoming trustees for the people, taking an earned commission for their labors. I hope, therefore, the rumor is not true that the British government are likely at the instance, INSTANCE, instance of the some princes or their divans, DEVWANS, divans, to announce a change in the policy recently enunciated ENUNCIATED by Earl Winterton, EARL, Earl, WINTERTON, Winterton, about the ability of the princes to grant responsible government to their people. If any one of them have asked the British government to reverse the policy, they have undoubtedly done a deserves DISSERVICE to themselves. And if the British government respond to unworthy wish, they will participate a first-class crisis whose magnitude, 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 it is difficult to foretell, FORETELL. I must refuse to believe that the British government can commit such a blunder, BLUNDER, blunder. Earl Winterton's announcement was but an endorsement, ENDORSEMENT, endorsement of past practice. They are not known to have ever interfered with the states giving powers to their people, however wide they might be. I go a step further, even as the British government, as the paramount, PARAMOUNT, paramount power, are bound to protect the princes against harm from outside or within. They are equally or a fortiori, FORTORI, bound to ensure just rule on the part of the princes. Hence, it is their bounden duty, BOUNDEN, bounden duty, when they supply the police or the military to any state, to see that there is a proper emergency justifying the request, and the military or the police will be used with becoming restraint. RESTRAINT, restraint. From Dane Canal, DHENKANAL, from Dane Canal have come to me stories of fiendish cruelty exercised by the state myrmidons, MIRMIDONS, under the shadow of the police supplied by the paramount power. I asked for evidence in support of some of the unnameable cruelties, and I have enough to inspire belief. Indeed, it's a question whether responsible ministers in the provinces, 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 have not a moral responsibility in respect of the people of the states in their respective provinces. Under the Constitution, the ministers have no power over them. The governor is the agent of the victory, who is the representative of the paramount power. but the ministers in the autonomous AU, TEO, NO, MOU is autonomous provinces have surely a moral responsibility regarding what's happening in the states. So long as the states and the people are satisfied, ministers have no worry. But have they none if there is a say virulence epidemic, VIURELNCE epidemic, EPIDEMIC in the state, which if neglected may easily overtake the province in which they are situated? Question mark. Have they none when there is a moral epidemic which seems to be raging in Then Canal? I understand that the persecuted people are taking refuge. Persecuted, PERSECUTED people are taking refuge in the British Orissa, ORISSA, Orissa. Can the minister refuse them shelter? Question mark. How many can they take charge of? Question mark. Whatever happens in the states affects for the better or for worse the province as a whole. I do believe, therefore, that the ministers, by reason of the heavy responsibility resting on their shoulders, have the moral life within strict limits to assert assert themselves for the sake of internal peace and decency. DECENCY, decency. They cannot look on with unconcern while the people of states an arbitrary arbitrary creation of the paramount power are being grounded to dust as they in Then Canal are reported to be. One reads in the papers that some concessions CONCESSIONS have been given to the people of Then Canal. I do not know whether the report is true and whether the relief answers the purpose for which the people of Then Canal are fighting and suffering. It is, however, irrelevant to the issue raised by me. I feel that the ministers in the provinces are morally bound to take notice of gross misrule in the states within their borders and to tender advice to paramount power as to what, in their opinion, should be done. The paramount power, if it is so to enjoy friendly relations with the provincial ministers, is bound, BOUND, bound to give sympathetic, SIMPATHETIC, sympathetic ear, EAR, ear to their advice. There is one other matter which demands the urgent attention of the states and their advisers. They fight shy of the very name Congress. They regard congressmen as outsiders, foreigners, and what not. They may be all that in law, but man-made law, if it is in conflict with the natural law, becomes a dead letter when the letter operates in full force. The people of the states look up to the Congress in all matters affecting affecting their interest. Many of them are members of the Congress. Some people like Sri Jamanalji, JMANALG, hold high offices in the Congress organization. In the eye of the Congress, there is no distinction between members from the states and from the India called British. It is surely detrimental, detrimental to the interests of states to ignore the Congress or congressmen, especially when it or they seek to tender friendly assistance they must recognize. It's a Gandhi's article in Harijans on State People's Movement. Hi there, I'm Pratibha. Today we're going to talk about subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit 32, Popular Struggles in the Princely States. Part 3. Subunit 32.4.2 Congress Ministries. The assumption of office by Congress ministries in many of the provinces also acted as a spurt, SPURT, to the movements in the states. The fact of the Congress being in power in the provinces in British India generated as a feeling of confidence and aroused aroused expectation in the people of the states. It also acted as a pressure on the rulers. The Congress was no longer just an oppositional OPPO-SITIONL movement. It was a party in power. They took this as an indication of the future they would have to command within their own territories. TERRIOTORIES. TERRIOTORIES territories. Subunit 32.5 The New Stage. The high watermark of the movement movement in the states was thus reached in the years 1938 to 1939. Prajamandals or People's Associations sprung up in many states, and struggles broke out in Rajkot, RAJCOT, Travancore, TRAVANCORE, Mysore, MISORE, Hyderabad, HYDERABAD, Patiala, PATIALA, Jaipur, JAIPUR, Kashmir, KASHMIR, and the Orissa states, ORISSA, Orissa states. Subunit 32.5.1 Change in the Congress policy. There was a marked change in the Congress policy towards the movements in the states. In this new situation, the militants, MILITANTS, and leftists, LEFTISTS, had been urging URGING even earlier for a clearer identification with the movement in the states. But the decisive impact decisive impact on the Congress thinking was made by growth of popular movements in the states. This is clear from the following statements made by Gandhiji in an interview to the Times of India on 25th January 1939. Quotation mark open. The policy of non-intervention by the Congress was, in my opinion, a perfect piece of statesmanship, STATESMANSHIP, when the people of states were not awakened. AWAKENED, awakened. The policy would be cowardice, COWARDICE, when there is all around awakening among the people of the states and determination to go through a long course of suffering for the vindication, vindication of their just rage, RIJE. The moment they become ready, the legal, constitutional and artificial boundary was destroyed. Quotation mark closed. At its Tripuri session in March 1939, the Congress passed a resolution which is incorporated the idea expressed above by Gandhiji. Quotation mark open. The great awakening that is taking place among the people of the states may lead to a relaxation or to a complete removal of the restraint, RESTRAINT, which the Congress imposed upon itself, thus resulting it is an ever-increasing identification of the Congress with the state's peoples. Quotation mark close. The election of Jawaharlal Nehru as a president of Ludhiana LUDHIANA session of the AISPC in 1939 also gave a treat impetus to the movement and become a symbol of the fusion FUSHION of the movements in British India and the Indian states. Subunit 32.5.2 Quit India in the States. The Second World War broke out in 1939 and this led to a marked change in the atmosphere. Atmosphere. The Congress ministries resigned. The British Indian government as well as the princes became more repressive. REPRESSIVE. There was a lull in the movement which was, however, broken with the launching of the Quit India movement in August 1942. For the first time, the Congress gave a call to the people of states to participate fully in the All India struggle for independence. To their demand for responsible government was now added the demand for independence for India and for the states to become an integral part of the Indian nations. The struggle of the people in the states was formally integrated with the struggle of the people in British India. Subunit 32.5.3 The process of integration. After the Second World War was over, negotiations for the transfer of power from British to Indian hands were started. The question of the future of Indian states became of critical importance at this juncture. 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 The British government took the position that with their departure and the lapse of British paramountcy, PARAMOUNTCY, the Indian states became legally independent entities. This would create a situation that might lead to balkanization, BALKANIZATION, balkanization of the subcontinent. The national leadership and especially Sardar Patel played a vital role at this stage and succeeded in getting the vast majority of the states to accede ACCEDE to the Indian Union through a combination of diplomatic pressure, arm twisting, ARM-TWISTING, arms twisting, and popular movements. Many of the more sensible rulers had realized on their own that independence of their territories as a separate entities was not realistic alternative. However, some of the states such as Travancore, TRAVANCORE, Junagadh, JUNAGADH, Hyderabad, HYDERABAD, and Kashmir, KASHMIR, refused to join the Indian Union till the last minute. Only Hyderabad made a serious bid for independence up to the last moment. There is an article which has been released on the editorial on State People's Movement in Free Press Journal on 18th October 1947 by the Free Press Journal, State People's Supplement, Bombay, Saturday, October 1847. In a maze, M-A-Z-E. Despiting of the hope that Lord Mountbatten has advised to the Indian princes will be followed, the Government of India and the AISPC are drifting, unable either to see the overall picture in its true perspective or lay down a uniform plan as to how the difficulties arising out of the June 2nd plan are to be surmounted. SURMOUNTED. The Union government seeks to judge each state on individual merit. The AISPC, through its spokesman and now ex-president, can see merit only in those actions of the states that are favorable to the Indian Union. Thus, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel cannot see the necessity of holding a plebiscite, PLEBISITE, in Kashmir, although he thinks that plebiscite in Junagadh is essential. Thus, Dr. Pattabhi Subramanya cannot see why Kashmir should join Pakistan, but he wants Hyderabad and Junagadh to join the Indian Union on the grounds that the majority population is non-Muslim. The executive president even goes so far as to suggest that Kashmir and Hyderabad should exchange ruler after which all difficulties would apparently vanish. Both representatives are inclined to lay emphasis EMPHASIS on the ruler rather than the people. Neither is able to get over the lapse of paramountcy, although a states away all the control over the princes on the majority of June on the morning of June 3, and the other acquiesced ACQUIESED without Hi there, I am Pratibha. Today we are going to talk about the subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit 32, Popular Struggles in the Princely States, Part 4. Check your progress. 1. The first question: what was the initial impact of national movement on the people of the Indian states? Second question: what was the policy of the Indian National Congress towards the popular movements in the Indian states? Third question: write 5 lines on the federation scheme. Fourth question: read the following statement and mark right or wrong. First statement: the British exercised Indian control on the areas controlled by the Indian princes. Second, the federation scheme was supported by the nationalist leaders. Third question: the movement in the primarily states acquired in impetus in the 1930s. Case studies of 2 states. We shall now proceed to take a deep look at the pattern of the movement in 2 Indian states. We have preferred this method of detailed illustration, illustration of the movement in selected representative states, to the method of summarizing briefly the movements in all the states, as we feel that the former method will be more helpful to us in understanding the complex dynamics of the various forces that shaped political consciousness. Consciousness and political activity in the Indian states at the ground level. The states we have chosen are representative not only in terms of size. Hyderabad, the largest Indian state, and Rajkot among the smallest, but also in other ways. Hyderabad was ruled by Nizam, Muslim, and Rajkot by Hindu. In Rajkot, it was a Gandhian political worker who were in leadership, whereas in Hyderabad, the communists play a major role in the popular movement against the feudal ruler. FEUDAL, feudal ruler. Subunit 32.6, Rajkot. Case study 1. Rajkot was one of the numerous SITNA numerous states that dotted the Kathiawad, Kathiawad, Kathiawad Peninsula, Peninsula of Gujarat, 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 and had a population of only 75,000. Its importance, however, was considerable because Rajkot city was the headquarters of the Western Indian States Agency, from where the British political agency carried on its dealing with the exercised supervision over all the small states of the area. Subunit 32.6.1 Reign of Lakharjin, Reign of Lakharjin, Lakharjin. Rajkot enjoyed the distinction of being one of the first states in India where popular participation in government was introduced. This was largely due to the enlightened ENLIGHTENED views of the Thakur, Thakur Sahib, SAHIB of the Rajkot Lakharjiraj, LAKHAJIRAJ, who ruled the state for 20 years till 1930. He had, in 1923, inaugurated the Rajkot Praja Prathinidhi Sabha, a representative assembly consisting of 90 members election, the basis of universal adult franchise, FRA and CHISA franchise. The Thakur Sahib retained the right of veto, veto, but Lakharjiraj rarely exercised this right. In effect, the popular assembly had considered power. Lakharjiraj promoted industrial and educational development of the state. The enugnated ENUGNTENED ruler actively encouraged the nationalist political activity in various ways. He gave a permission for the holding of the first Kathiawar political conference, Kathiawar Kathiawar political conference in Rajkot in 1921, which was presided presided over the Vithalbhai Patel, Vithalbhai, Vithalbhai Patel, the illustrious illustrious brother of Sardar Patel, who later went on become the first Indian president of the Central Legislative Assembly. Lakharjiraj was a great admirer of Gandhiji and very proud of achievements of this son of Rajkot. He would often invite him to this darbar, DURBAR, and then make him sit on the throne while he himself sat in his darbar. Jawaharlal Nehru was given a public reception by him during a visit to the States. Lakharjiraj also attended the sessions of the Kathiawar Political Conference, WAR, WAR, Khadi, KHADI, in defiance of British, DEFIANC, defiance of the British and donated the land of setting up of a national school that was become a center of political activity. Subunit 32.6.2 Return to despotism. DESPOTISM. The initiatives taken by Lakhaji Raj were too good to last for long. His death in 1930 brought his son Dharmendra Singh Ji, DHARMENDRA, Dharmendra Singh Ji, SINGHJI, to the throne, THRONE, and as a ruler, he proved the exact opposite of his father. Dharmendra Singh Ji was interested only in his own luxurious and comforts, and he was encouraged in this by the crafty Diwan Viravala. Crafty, CRAFTY, Diwan, DEVAN, Viraval, VIRAWALA, who used opportunity to concentrate all power in his own hands. The state's wealth was wasted on extravagant EXTRAVAGANT expenditure EXPENDITURE, and the finances soon reached such a state that monopolies MONOPOLIES for the sale of rice, matches, sugar and cereals were given for a price to individual merchants in order to raise revenues. Taxes were increased, prices rose, and popular assembly was allowed to lapse. All this produced a discontent and resentment, RESENTMENT, among the people, especially since the contrast with the reign REIGN of Lakhaji Raj was so sharp. Subunit 32.6.3 Beginning of protest. The ground for struggle had also been prepared by a different political group who had been active in the Kathiawar area for many years. The group that emerged in the leading position during these years, however, consisted of Gandhian constructive workers, and their main leader was UN Debar, DHEBAR. The first blow was struck in 1936 when a strike of 800 workers took place in AEGIS of a labor union organized by Jethalal Joshi, JETHALAL JOSHI, Jethalal Joshi, a Gandhian activist and in state-owned cotton mill. The strike lasted 21 days and the Darbar had no concede. The union's demands for a better working conditions encouraged by this success. Jethalal Joshi and UN Debar organized in March 1937 a meeting of Kathiawar Rajakiya Parishad, open the bracket, political conference, close the bracket. The first to be held in 8 years. The 15,000 people who attended this conference demanded responsible government and reduction in taxes and state expenditure. The ruler made no move either to negotiate or concede the demands. The Parishad therefore launched the next phase of struggle in August 1938 by organizing a protest against gambling, for which a monopoly had been sold at the Gokulashtami fair, GOKULASHTMI, Gokulashtami fair. The administration had planned repression, REPRESSION, and the protesters were beaten with lathis, LATHIS, first by the agency police and then by state police. The reaction was immediate. There was complete hurtle, HARTAL, and Sardar Patel presided over a session of the Parishad on 5th September. Patel also met Diwan Veerawala and presented the demands of the people, which included the committee to frame proposal for responsible government, a new election for the Pratinidhi Sabha or a popular representative assembly, reduction of land revenue by 15%, cancellation of all monopolies or IJRAS, IJARAS, and a limit on the ruler's claim on the state treasury. The Darbar, however, was no mood to listen and instead stepped up the confrontation, a confrontation, confrontation by asking the British resident to depute a British officer as a Diwan in order to effectively deal with the agitation. AGITATION. The British duly dispatched Cadell, CADLL, to take over as Diwan. Diwan Veerawala, who planned the whole scheme, became a private advisor to the throne and continued to operate from behind the scenes. Hello there, I am Pratibha. Today we are going to talk about subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit 32. Popular Struggles in Princely States. Part 5. Subunit 32.6.4. The Satyagraha. SATYAGRAHG. Satyagraha. Seeing the rigid attitude of the administration, the resistance RESISTANCE was stepped up to assume the form of a full-scale satyagraha. There were workers' strikes in the cotton mill and the students also went on strike. All goods, either produced by the state or products sold under monopoly, were boycotted. BOYCOTTED, boycotted. These included electricity and cloth. Land revenue was not paid and the deposits in the state bank were withdrawn. WTH, DRAWN, withdrawn. In short, all sources of income of the states were blocked. Volunteers followed from Bombay, British Gujarat and the other parts of Kathiawar outside Rajkot. The organization of the movement was highly advanced. Every leader arrested was replaced by another according to the pre-arranged secret chain of the command, and volunteers were informed of their date of arrival. And arrangements in Rajkot were published in the newspapers by means of code numbers. Sardar Patel, though THO UGH, not physically present in the Rajkot most of the time, kept himself in a regular touch by telephone every evening. The British government was worked over the possibility of what would be seen as a Congress victory in Rajkot. They did not want the Darbar to come to any settlement with the resistance movement. They feared that this would result in a further spread of a movement and would increase Congress influence. But hard pressed by the highly successful Satyagraha, the Darbar entered into a settlement with the Sardar Patel on 26 December 1938, by which the Satyagraha was withdrawn and prisoners were released. The crucial part of the deal was the Darbar's commitment to appoint a committee of 10 state subjects or officials to formulate a scheme of reforms designed to grant the widest possible powers to the people. It was also agreed that of the 10 members of this committee, 7 would be Sardar Patel's nominees. The British government, which had opposed the agreement in the first place, now swung into action. SWUNG, swung. After consultations at the highest level of the Viceroy, VICE, and the Secretary of the State, the Thakur Sahib was forced to take the stand that he would not accept Sardar Patel's list of 7 members and would instead have another one drawn up with the help of the resident. The reason given publicly for the refusal was also very significant, since it showed clearly the attempt being made to create a caste and communal divisions. The list given by Sardar cannot be accepted, it was argued, because it contained the names only of Brahmins and Baniyas, Rajputs, Muslims, and the depressed classes were not represented there. The Satyagraha was resumed on 26 January 1939 and it was met with heavy repression. However, the repression only called forth stronger protest from all over the country. Kasturba, Gandhiji's wife, who had grown up in Rajkot, was so moved that she decided, in spite of her advanced age and poor health, to go to Rajkot. On arrival, she and her companion Maniben, Maniben, the Sardar's daughter, were detained in a village outside Rajkot city. Following upon this, Gandhiji himself decided to proceed to Rajkot. He had already taken serious note of the breach of the solution agreement by the Darbar. He now felt that his own and his family close association with the state and the Thakur Sahib's family called forth his personal intervention. The Darbar, undoubtedly egged, EGGED, on by the British, continued to be obdurate, OBDURATE, and finally Gandhiji announced his intention on going on an indefinite, indefinite fast unless the Darbar agreed to honor its agreement by 3rd March. No assurance was given by the Darbar and the fast began. Subunit 32.6.5 Gandhiji's intervention. As was inevitable, INEVITABLE, the beginning of Gandhiji's fast became the signal for a nationwide protest. The Viceroy was pressurized with the telegrams demanding his intervention. Congress ministries threatened to resign. Hazels were called and legislature adjourned. LEGI, yes, LATURES, legislature adjourned. ADJOURNED. Gandhiji himself sought the intervention of the paramount power to pursue PERSAUADE, the Thakur, to stick to the agreement. On 7th March, Gandhiji broke his fast after the Viceroy asked the Chief Justice of India, Sir Maurice Guyer, MAURISE, Maurice Guyer, GWYER, to arbitrate, ARBITRATE, and decide whether in fact the Thakur had violated the agreement. The Chief Justice upheld the Sardar's position in an award given on 3rd April 1939. But the Darbar, egged on by Veerawala, continued to promote the communal and caste divide by encouraging the Muslims and depressed classes to put forward their claims and then using these to refuse to honor the agreement. The situation soon began to deteriorate. Deteriorate, especially when Jinnah, Jinnah, and Ambedkar stepped in to demand separate representations for the Muslims and depressed classes, and there were hostile demonstration of Gandhiji's prayer meetings. The British government, too, since it had nothing to gain and all to lose from a Congress victory, refused to use its influence. At this point, Gandhiji himself decided to withdraw from the situation and announced that he released the Thakur Sahib from this agreement. He apologized to the Viceroy and the Chief Justice for wasting their time. He also apologized to his opponent and returned to British India, analyzing the reason for his failure to achieve a change of heart in his opponent. He felt that he was wrong in having tried to use the authority of paramount power to force the Darbar. He should have relied only on the strength of his own suffering to bring about a change of heart. And the Thakur Sahib and the Veerawala, the violence or the coercion, COERCION, involved in the method adopted had been cause of his failure. Subunit 32.6.6 Lessons of the Rajkot Satyagraha. The Rajkot Satyagraha, with all its twists and turns, demonstrated the complexity of the situation in the princely states, with the paramount power always ready to interfere in its own favor, but ever willing to use the legal independence of the rulers as an excuse for the non-interference when interventions was demanded by those opposition. In British India, this excuse could not be used, and the confrontation was therefore of a different order. On account of this difference in the situation, the same methods of struggle, when used in the different political conditions of British India and Indian states, often produced dissimilar results, and the Congress was perhaps justified in showing hesitations for long years to merge the movements in two zones. It needs to be pointed out, however, that the Rajkot Satyagraha, for all its apparent failure, exercised a tremendous politicizing effect on the people of the states, nor was it a pure coincidence that the man who was more responsible than any other for affecting the integration of the Indian states into the Indian Union in 1947 was none other than Sardar Patel, a veteran of the Rajkot struggle as well as some other resistance actions in the Indian states. Struggles such as those of Rajkot also helped to demonstrate to the rulers of the states the power of the popular resistance, and this no doubt encouraged many of them to accept integration without putting so much resistance. Check your progress. 2. Question number 1. Read the following statement and mark right or wrong. First statement, Unlike most other princely states, Rajkot state had introduced the principle of popular participation in the movement, in the government. Second statement. The early initiative for political activity was undertaken by Gandhian activists. Third statement. The Rajkot Satyagraha helping in politicizing the people of the states. Second question. Write 5 lines on Gandhiji's involvement with the Rajkot Satyagraha. Hello there, I am Pratibha. Today we are going to talk about subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit 32, Popular Struggles in the Princely States. Part 6. Subunit 32.7, Hyderabad. Case study 2. There was one state which refused to see the writing on the wall, and this was no other than the largest Indian state of Hyderabad. Hyderabad was ruled by Osman Ali Khan, who remained the Nizam from 1911 till 1948. And it was he who put up the toughest resistance to integration. His opposition was surprising. He was used to governing in style of a true despot, D-E-S-P-O-T, despot, and his personal estate comprised 10% of the total area of the state. The revenues from the states went directly to meet the royal expenses. He had obviously much to lose from integration of his state into the democratic India. Subunit 32.7.1 Nizam's rule. The people of Hyderabad, who were comprised of 3 distinct linguistic groups, D-I-S-T-I-N-C-T, distinct, linguistic, L-I-N-G-U-I-S-T-I-C, groups. Marathi speaking, in the bracket, 28%. Kannada speaking, in the bracket, 22%. And Telugu speaking, in the bracket, 50%. Had so much to be angry with. They were oppressed, O-P-P-R-E-S-S-E-D, by the feudal, F-E-U-D-A-L, agrarian, A-G-R-A-R-I-A-N, structure with Jagirdars, J-A-G-I-R-D-A-R-S, who imposed illegal actives, high rents, and the exacted forced labor or VETHI, V-E-T-H-I. The overwhelmingly O-V-E-R-W-H-E-L-M-I-N-G-L-Y. The whole overwhelmingly Hindu population also suffered from religion and the culture suppression. Their language was neglected and Urdu promoted in variety of ways. Muslims were given disproportions to share of the jobs in the government, especially at the higher levels. The Arya Samaj, which had begun to acquire considerably popularity since the 1920s, was suppressed within strong hand, and those who had come under its influence could not even hold the religious function without official permission. In the political sphere, SPHERE as well, the Nizam promoted the formation of Ittihad ul Muslimin, ITTEHAD UL MUSLIMN, Ittihad ul Muslimin, an organization based on loyalty to the Nizam on the basis of common religious faith. It was this cultural, economic, political and religious suppression that prepared the ground for the growth of people's movement in Hyderabad. Subunit 32.7.2 Beginning of Awakening. The beginning of political awakening came with the non-cooperation and Khilafat KHILAFAT movements in 1920 to 1922. National schools were set up, charakas, CHARKHAS were popularized, propaganda made against liquor drinking and badges with pictures of Gandhiji. Ali brothers were sold. Public demonstrations of Hindu-Muslim unity were popular and the Khilafat movement was used as an effective forum for organizing open political activities such as in the form of mass public meetings, since the Nizam hesitated to come out openly against this movement. Following upon this, a series of Hyderabad political conferences were held in British Indian territory adjoining the state. Responsible government, civil liberties, reduction of taxes, abolition of forced labor, freedom for religious and cultural expression were the main demands put forward at these conferences. The civil disobedience movement of 1930 to 1932 further advanced political consciousness, for many nationalists from Hyderabad crossed over to British India to participate in the struggle. They went to jails and mingled with nationalists from other region. These people returned to Hyderabad with a new sense of urgency and militancy. Meanwhile, the process of cultural awakening had also been underway. This took the form of different linguistic, cultural zones forming their own associations. The first to come up was the Andhra Jana Sangam, ANDHRA, JANA Sangam, SANGHAM, later transformed into Andhra Mahasabha, ANDHRA Andhra, MAHASABHA Mahasabha. This organization of the Telugu-speaking people of the Telangana area worked for the advancement of Telugu language and the literature through the setting up of schools, journals, newspaper, library associations and the research society. Despite the Maharashtra refraining from any overt political activity till the beginning of the 1940s, the Nizam's administration would shut down its schools, libraries, newspapers started by it. In 1937, the other two linguistic culture zones also set up their organization. The Maharashtra Parishad, MAHARASHTRA, Maharashtra, PARISHAD, Parishad, and the Kannada Parishad, KANNADA, PARISHAD. Subunit 32.7.3 The Satyagraha. In 1938, active workers of all the three regions came together and decided to launch a statewide organization named the Hyderabad State Congress. Even before it could actually be set up, the administration banned it on the ground that it did not have sufficient representation of Muslim. Attempt at negotiation came to naught, MOU GST, and decision was taken to launch a satyagraha. The satyagraha started in October 1938 and the man who led it was Swami Ramananda Tirtha. SWAMI RAMANAND TIRTHA, a Marathi-speaking nationalist who was a Gandhian in his lifestyle and the Nehru NEHRUITE in his ideology. As a part of this satyagraha, a group of 5 in which all the regions of the state would be represented would defy the ban orders by the proclaiming PROCLAIMING themselves members of the state congress. Large numbers of people would turn out to witness the satyagraha and express support, and this continued for 2 months, thrice a week, and 2 centers of Hyderabad and Aurangabad, AURANGABED, Aurangabad. At the same time, the Arya Samaj and Hindu Civil Liberties Union also launched a satyagraha against the religious persecution PERSECUTION of Arya Samaj. This satyagraha had religious objectives and even began to take on communal overtones. There was a great danger of the 2 satyagrahas being confused in the popular mind. The state administration was trying precisely to work in that direction. This was seen by the state Congress and Gandhiji. Accordingly, it was decided that in order to keep the religious and political issues separate, the political satyagraha of the state Congress be suspended. There emerged during the same period the famous Bande Mataram movement. Famous Bande BANDE Mataram MATARAM movement, which led to large-scale radicalization RADICALISATION of students. This movement began in Hyderabad colleges as a protest strike against the authorities who refused to allow the students to sing Bande Mataram in their hostel prayer rooms. The strike soon spread to other parts of the state. Students were expelled from the colleges and many of them went to Nagpur University in the Congress-ruled central provinces where they were given admission. This movement proved to be very important because many of the active political workers of the time emerged from this band of students. Subunit 32.7.4 World War II. The Second World War had broke out in 1939. This provided an opportunity to the state government to refuse to discuss the questions of political reforms. The state congress continued to remain under a ban, and there was another symbolic protest by Swamiji and 6 others personally selected by Gandhiji in September 1940. This led to their arrest and detention till December 1941. Gandhiji was not in favor of any resumption RESUMTION of mass struggle at this stage, since all India struggle was in the offing and all struggles should be launched as a part of the common program. The ban on the state congress related in the regional cultural organization emerging as the forum of political activity. They became particularly true of the Andhra Mahasabha of the Telugus. Many of the young newly politicized cadre CADRE flocked FLOCKED to the Sabha and gave it new energy and militant completion. An important development that occurred at this time was that Ravi Narayana Reddy, who had emerged as a major leader of the younger radical group in the Mahasabha and had participated in the 1939 State Congress Satyagraha, was drawn towards the Communist Party of India. He, along with the B. Ella Reddy, YELLAREDDY, succeeded in securing the support of a large proportion of the younger cadre as well. The result was to be seen in the growing radicalization RADICALTION of Mahasabha's politics and its focus on peasant problems. Meanwhile, the call for Quit India came. Since the movement this time was to be extended to the princely states as well, Gandhiji and Jawaharlal Nehru both addressed the AISPC Standing Committee that, along with the AICC in Bombay in August 1942, and gave a call for a struggle. The arrest of major leaders succeeded in preventing the emergence of the organized movement, but many people all over the state participated in the struggle and went to jails. A batch of women offered satyagraha in Hyderabad city, and Sarojini Naidu was arrested in the connection. There was a new spirit of defiance, DEFIANCE, in the air. The Quit India movement had another effect as well. It sealed the rift that had taken place between the communist and the non-communist. The Communist Party of India adopted December 1941 the People's War Line, which asked to support to Britain the anti-fascist FASCIST war in pursuant PURSUAN of this line. The communists did not officially support the Quit India movement, thus consigning themselves off from the other nationalists. Further, because of the government of India's changed attitude towards the CPI, at this time the Nizam also removed the ban of the CPI, thus enabling it to function openly at time when other nationalists were in jail. In continuation of this process, a split occurred in the Andhra Mahasabha in 1944. The non-communist elements walking out to form their own separate organization and leaving the Mahasabha in communist hands. Hi there, I am Pratibha. Today we're going to talk about subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit 32, Popular Struggles in the Princely States. Part 7. Subunit 32.7.5. The Peasant PEASANT movement. The communists were quick to the advantage of their position as soon as the war came to an end. The years 1945 to 1946 and especially the later of HALF of 1946 were years of the growth of a powerful peasant movements in various pockets of the Nalgonda NALGONDA district and to some extent in Warangal WARANGAL and Khammam KHAMMAM. The issues around which the peasants were mobilized were those of the forced grain lead that had to be paid to the state as a part of the wartime food procurement. The practice of forced labor or Veti Begar, VETHI BEGAR, extracted by the government under links and the rural bigwigs BIG-WIGS, especially landowners. Illegal exactions EXACTIONS, extractions, and the legal seizures SEIZURES of the land. Clashes occurred between the peasants led by the communists under the Andhra Mahasabha banner and the Gundas GOONDAS of the landlords and later the armed forces of the states. Strong repression REPRESSION of the fierce FIERCE resistance, which included arrests, beating and killings, succeeded in forcing the peasants to lie low for a time, but they had nevertheless NEVERTHELESS acquired a confidence in themselves and in leadership of the Sangam SANGHAM, as a Mahasabha was popularly known. Subunit 32.7.6, the last phase, PHA-SE. The situation now took a drama in turn with Viceroy Mountbatten's Mountbatten's announcement on 3rd June 1947 that the British would be leaving India in a short time. The Nizam on 12th June 1947 announced that he would become a sovereign SOVEREIGN after the British left. He had obviously no intention of joining the Indian Union. The state congress now decided to come into the open and take the lead. It had already established its popularity a few months earlier when it had organized a very successful boycott of the election held in the state under a new undemocratic UNDEMOCRATIC constitution that the Nizam was trying to foist on the people. In response to the Nizam's refusal to associate ACCEDE to the Union, the Congress now held its first open session from 16th to 18th June and demanded accession accession to the Indian Union and the responsible government. The state leaders also began to prepare in consultation with the national leadership in Delhi for a struggle against the Nizam. The struggle was to include both mass satyagraha and armed resistance. To evade arrest, a committee of action was set up outside Hyderabad and offices were established on the borders of the state in Sholapur, SHOLAPUR, Bejawada, BEZVADA, Bezwada, and Gadag, GADAG, with a central office at Bombay. Also, funds were collected in which Jaiprakash Narayan played a crucial role. The day fixed for the launching a movement, 7th August 1947, was to be observed as a Join Indian Union Day, closed. The movement took off with a flying start. Meetings were held in defiance of bans in towns and villages all over the state, and workers and students went on strike. Beatings and arrests followed as also a ban on the ceremonial ceremonial hoisting hoisting of the national flag. In the subsequent days, defying defying this ban by all means became a major form of the struggle. Students played an important role in this struggle, as did women. The government intensified intensified repression, and Independence Day, 15th August 1947, Swamiji and his colleagues were arrested. The new development was an open encouragement by the administration to the Razakars, R-A-Z-A-K-A-R-S, Razakars, who were the storm troopers, Troopers, storm troopers of the communal organization. The Ittihad-ul-Muslimin, I-T-T-I-H-A-D, Ittihad-ul Muslimin, M-U-S-L-I-M-I-N, Muslimin, to act as a paramilitary force. Razakars were issued arms and let loose on unarmed crowds. They were set up camps near rebellious rebellious village and regularly carried out armed raids. The Nizam signed a standstill agreement with the Indian government in November 1947, but this did nothing to relieve the repression. Subunit 32.7.7 Armed Resistance and the Intervention of Indian Army. The movement now took a different form, that of armed resistance. The state congress set up camps on the state's borders and organized raids on customs outposts, the police station and Razakar camps. But inside the states, and especially in the Nalgonda, Warangal and Khammam districts of Telangana, it was the communists who took the lead organizing armed resistance. They organized the peasants into Dalamas, D-A-L-A-Ms, Dalamas, gave the training in using arms to attack the Razakars. They also attacked the landlords in many areas, killed a few and chased away many to the towns and distributed their illegally acquired land to the original owners and those with little or no land. The next stage was reached when the Indian Army attacked Hyderabad on 13th September 1947, secured the surrender of the Nizam and integrated the state with the Indian Union. The Indian Army was welcomed by the people, including the peasants, as an army of liberation. There was a great jubilation and a national flag was hoisted with a great joy and sense of freedom. Check your progress. 3. First question. Write 5 lines on the nature of the oppressions, OPPRESSION, prevalent, PREVALENT, in the state of Hyderabad. Second question. Read the following statement and mark right or wrong. First statement. The non-cooperation movement had no impact on the people of Hyderabad. Second statement. The Bande Mataram movement helped a radicalizing the students of Hyderabad state. Third statement. The Quit India movement brought the communists and the non-communists together. Fourth statement. The Nizam did not want to join the Indian Union. Subunit 32.8. Let us sum up. The history of the struggles in the two states of Hyderabad and Rajkot brings out the similarities and the differences between the princely India and the British India. Many of the economic and social problems were similar, As for example, the curse, CURSE, of landlordism, high taxes, illiteracy, and the social backwardness. But even these problems tended to be more acute, ACUTE, in the princely states because of the democratic power of the rulers. In the political sphere as well, the Indian states were even there backward and had much less of civil liberties and the responsible government than British India. As a consequence, the level of political consciousness, the political activity in the princely states was usually a decade or a man behind that in British India. And even when political movements did emerge, there was very little scope for open expression of dissent, DISSENT, and opposition. This usually resulted the pushing the activity underground and even forcing it to assume some violent forms. This happened not only in Hyderabad but notably also in Patiala, Travancore and Orissa states. This gave an added advantage to communists and other left groups who were willing to pursue the oppressed masses. OPPRESSED, oppressed MASSES, in the face of strong repression and felt lesser hesitation than other nationalists in taking the recourse to violence. It is therefore not suppressing the communists played an important role in the movement states, whereas Hyderabad, Travancore and Patiala there was a move towards violent means of action. The history of the freedom struggles in the Indian states also shows that the policy of the Indian National Congress towards the states was constantly changing in keeping with the situation in the country as a whole. As the movements gained in strength and Congress was able to take clear and bolder step, and by 1942, no distinction was maintained between the movements in princely India and British India. In 1947 to 1948, the clear-cut position taken by the Congress against all talk independence by the states and its willingness to use force were important factors in preventing the balkanization BALKANIZATION of the country and the subjugation 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 and defect the biggest vestiges VESTINGES of feudalism FEUDALISM preserved by British colonialism COLONIALISM colonialism. Hello there, I am Pratibha. Today we are going to talk about subject history. Book name is Indian Modern History from 1867 to 1964. Unit 32, Popular Struggles in the Princely States. Part 8. Subunit 32.9. Key words. Heading: Federation Scheme, a British scheme espoused ESPOUSED through the Government of India Act 1935. It attempted to make the princely states a part of the Indian Federation by incorporating their representative into the central legislature. Heading: Paramountcy. An arrangement between the British government and the Indian princes. The princess recognized the British as the paramount power, and the British in return acknowledged them as the independent entities. Heading: Reaction. Opposition to the forces of progress and change. Subunit 32.10 Answers to Check Your Progress exercises. Check Your Progress 1. Your answer should refer the general politicization of the people of the states as well as spread of the ideas and democracy and the liberties among them. See section 32.2. Second, you should emphasize the complexity of the Congress policy towards the princely states. Section 32.4. Third answer. See subsection 32.4.1. Fourth answer. First, second, third. 3 are the right answers. Check Your Progress 2. The first answer. The 3 options are right. Second answer. See subsection 32.6.5. Check Your Progress 3. You should refer to the operations along economic as well as the religious lines. See subsection 32.7.1. Second one answer. All the 3 answers are right.